Okay, so the next thing that teachers always ask me about is how can they apply conditional formatting so that they can change colors based on the grade a student achieves. So in this example, I'm going to apply it to a selected column here so that the grades change color. So that green would be for A and A star, maybe yellow, orange would be for B and C, and then slightly more red if it's a lower grade. So to do that, I'm going to select all these cells I want to apply it to, and up the top here I'm going to click on conditional formatting, and I'm going to click on manage rules. Okay, and what I'm going to do is create a new rule, and I want to apply it to cells that contain. The cell value has to be specific text, and the cell value, sorry, not specific text, it should be equal to, cell value is equal to, let's say, A star, and if it's an A star, I want it to be a nice bright green, and click OK, and I'll create another one. So same again, new rule, cells that contain, cell value is equal to, this time just A, and I'm going to pick a slightly different green, and so forth. So I'm going to repeat this a few times now. Right, there you have it. Okay, now for the next part, what we want to do is we want to build on what we did in the last section with conditional formatting, and we want to assume that we want to color the cells based on the target grade as opposed to just the grade itself. So for example, if someone is doing better than their target grade, then they have a specific color. If they're on par with the target grade, or if they're below the target grade, then we want the colors to be different. So what I've done here is I've slightly changed it just to make it easier to understand how to do the formatting. I've changed the grades to the number system as opposed to A, B, C, D, F, to make it a bit easier to work out how to calculate the differences. So to do that again, I'm going to highlight the cells, and as you can see at the moment, the colors have disappeared because I've removed the A to E or A to F numbering system, grades there, and I've replaced them with numbers. Okay, so before we start making some rules, I want to lay down an idea. So the idea is that if a student is one above their target grade, I'm going to color this cell in blue. So if the student is one above their target grade, I'm going to say one or more. Let's say more than or equal to 1 above, then it's blue. If a student is on their target grade, so let's say if it's same, equals the same. Okay, if it's more than 1 below, then let's make it orange. Let's say -1. That's -1, and we want the color for a student to be red if it's more than -1. Okay, let's see if we can work this out. So to do that, I'm just gonna do a calculation here, just to sort of try to make a bit more sense of it. So in this column here, I'm going to delete this afterwards. I'm going to say that we want to say this one minus this one. So actual grade minus target grade. Here it tells me it's -1. So this person is 1 under his target grade. And if we fill that down, we can see that this person is the same level as his target grade, so that's 0. This person has got a grade 7, target grade is 5, so he's 2 above his target grade, and so forth. You can see we've worked out the difference. So now what we want to do is create rules to apply this color system to these grades based on where they are based on their target grades. Okay, so we're going to create a new rule, and we're going to use formula. And this bit can be a little tricky, but what we want to do is we want to say that this cell minus this cell, if it was to equal more than equal to 1, so in other words, if it's a plus 1 or more, so in this case this cell here, this cell where it's higher, we want it to be blue. And before I forget, we want to contain that calculation within brackets, and we want to remove the absolute cell referencing, so we remove the dollar symbols. So when we click on OK and apply, I don't know why it's done that. We'll try again. So we'll say this cell minus this cell is more than equal to 1. If we click on OK and apply, that didn't work, but if we go back and then remove the conditional formatting, for some reason now that works. I don't know why. Anyway, so we create a new rule, and again, so we're going to say if this cell minus this cell is equal to 0, we want it to be green, so it means it's the same as a target grade. I'm going to remove the absolute cell referencing again, so get rid of the dollar symbols. Oh, now everything's green. It's done the same thing again, so we'll do that. We'll say that one minus this one is equal to 0, and then what I might do this time is brackets as well. Click OK. I don't expect that to work, but when I go back in and then remove the absolute cell referencing, it now seems to do the trick. So we'll do that one more time. We'll now say that formula, if this cell minus this cell is less than equal to 1, and I'll put that in parentheses as well. Okay, I want that to be orange. I'm assuming that's not going to work. When we click on apply, it didn't. But this time when we go back and we remove the absolute cell referencing, click OK. Oh. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, sorry, my mistake. That should have been -1. And that works. Now, in this case, in the case of this one where it's more than 2 below the target grade, I want that one to be red, so I'm going to create one more rule again. So this one minus this one is more than equal to -2, and again, not forgetting to put these in parentheses, and we want it to be red. And again, I've got a feeling it's not going to work, and it didn't. But when we double click back in and we remove the conditional formatting, sorry, the absolute cell referencing, now that should work, and it has done. So now, as you can see, what we have is a table that colors each student's grade based on based on how they performed according to their target. So if a target was a 6 and he achieved a 5, then that's one below his target, so that's an orange. If it's the same as a target, then that's a green. If it's above the target, in this case, then it's a blue. And if it's more than one below the target, then it's a red. Okay. I hope that was useful.